Hello, welcome to Alive to Thrive OT. I'm Lauren Lyman.
And I'm Tracy Schnabel.
And we are two occupational therapists who noticed a gap in the healthcare system. So we are here to do all the research for you, communicate information with you, and help you become empowered to reclaim your health and take care of yourself. So before we get started, we have a legal disclaimer. This podcast is for informational purposes only. If you do have specific medical concerns, please consult with your medical provider. We do not offer warranties or representation, so please proceed at your own risk. And if you do have a medical emergency, please call 911 immediately. So today is an exciting, long overdue day because we are talking about a whole new level of care, which is occupational therapy. So how can we help you? What sets occupational therapists apart from other healthcare providers?
What do? We look at ADLs, which is like activities of daily living. So dressing, bathing, toileting, eating, grooming. We look at instrumental activities of daily living, like cooking, yard work, laundry, shopping, things that you need to do to like basically keep up your household. Work, play, leisure, sleep, social participation, education. So we look at a lot of different areas, and then you're probably saying
your entire life, basically.
Yeah, that's why we're like truly holistic practitioners, and I don't think we're marketed enough and what we can do, because a lot of other professions can be like unidimensional, while we're trained in like more a variety of psychological, physiological, spiritual, a lot of different areas that could be impacting you and your health and wellness. So I think that we make great health and wellness coaches, which is what Lauren is doing. I think we do excellent with pain management, which is what Lauren's doing, and I want to also do with energy healing practices. We make great case managers, probably would be really great business owners. In the hospital setting, we work with people that have had strokes. You probably have like a grandmother or maybe a parent that's had a stroke and maybe they can't feed themselves anymore. We prescribe specific equipment to help people be able to feed themselves, or maybe techniques that make it easier. And then there's people maybe that have like neurological illness, like multiple sclerosis, and help them be able to balance out their day so that they have the energy that they need to be able to do the things they want and need to do. So we have a lot of expertise. And I think
really anyone with any kind of injury,
yeah,
anything physical or mental that's impairing your ability to be independent and successful at life, that's who we see. So literally anybody.
Yeah. And I think where we're undermarketed is in pain management, because I think a lot of people have, like we talked about in other videos, pain not otherwise specified as a diagnosis, and they've not really gotten treatment for it. And we can kind of look at a variety of areas of your life and what could be impacting those areas due to pain, and how to help with the pain or eliminate the pain. And then we also help with mental health, and I think we're not marketed enough for that, because like I was just saying to Lauren, if you have depression, that's going to affect all areas of your life, even the most basic. Like you might notice somebody might not be showering, or they might not be eating regularly. We can also look at the underlying causes of the depression and help them manage that better.
But also I think this is an issue with society at large, not just occupational therapy, but we aren't advertised as helping people, typically functioning people who are just having a little trouble, and that's kind of why, and some other factors, being able to stay home with my son and flexibility and all that. But that's one of the reasons I got into wellness coaching, because we are a little limited, doctors, nurses, occupational physical therapists, we have job descriptions and we have to follow them, and we can't really work outside of that. So the fact that we're educated in all of these areas and we can have such an impact, but certain jobs can limit that, it's really hard. It's very, very hard to say, I can help you with this, but I can't help you with that. Sorry. Even though I can help you, but I'm not allowed to. So It's really restricting, and that's why we do this. That's why I'm a wellness coach. Tracy does Reiki on the side. We do other things because we know that there's more we can be doing to help people.
Yeah, so like really OT is it's the most amazing profession never really marketed for the public. So we want to help promote that. So we look at the occupations, those things, like I said, ADLs, IADLs, work, play, leisure, sleep, social participation, education, those things. And we look how your medical illness or maybe even if you don't have anything wrong, how you can optimize those areas of your life to get what you want out of life, okay? Because we're trained to look at so many different areas. And then we also are trained why we help really well with people that have neurological illnesses, like I was saying, the stroke or multiple sclerosis, or orthopedic conditions, is because we're trained in client factors. So we're trained in body functions and structures. We help people improve balance, strength, range of motion, endurance, pain, regulate their pain. We work on those different areas because we understand the physiological and biological processes. We're trained in that. So one of my aunts said to me one time, like, oh, you work on bathing and dressing and things like that, so you're like an aide. And like aides are very important jobs, but we have a master's degree because we're taught how to do like the basic functions that an aide does, which is very important because you have to follow certain safety procedures. You have to be trained in how to not hurt your back, how to not hurt your patient. You do have to be certified, but we're trained in that. And then we're trained in so many biological processes that's contributing to disease that we can work on and get you to not need as much assistance because we understand how the body structures and functions work and how they're affected by the disease and how we could get you to be less affected by that disease.
So while we're giving you tools to help you be more independent, we're also working on your psychological state or physiological state to help you not to need those tools. So it's kind of like, okay, immediately this is what you need. We want you to be independent. We want you to be successful. We want you to be able to go home and not have to live in a nursing home or move in with somebody to help you. But we also want to work on these things so that you can do things more easily and you won't need to rely on other people or equipment and things like that.
Yeah, so it's a really awesome profession. And again, we look at the psychological component. So while other workers might just be like, oh, if somebody doesn't want to participate in rehab, just be like, oh, okay, like too bad for them. We could kind of evaluate them psychologically. Are they depressed? Is this a factor that's limiting their motivation? And again, she does personal coaching. So if you're noticing like you're not like where you want to be in your career and different aspects of your life, it could be because of depression. And we could help analyze, where is that depression coming from? Is it coming from your daily habits and routines? Is it coming from different areas, habits, and help you progress with that.
We also look at cognition. So what is your mental capacity? And sometimes we have to make those tough decisions like, this person is not safe to go home by themselves because they're forgetting to turn the stove off, or they're not managing their medication properly, which is obviously huge. If you take your medication wrong, you could kill yourself. So we have to make those tough decisions, and we want people to be independent. That's the goal. But ultimately, if we have to make the tough calls, we will.
So yeah, we do physical and cognitive evaluations. So that's really an important thing that a lot of other professions don't look at, is the cognitive eval. And then we also look at what are your activity demands. So if you're in the hospital and you have to go back home and you have to, take a bath on your own, we look at, okay, what objects are being used in the bathroom? Like maybe do you need a shower chair if you just had a hip replacement, or you just had a certain surgery that you might need equipment for, or maybe you needed equipment and you weren't evaluated before and you're not safe because your balance is off and we don't anticipate that to get better. So we look at that. We look at, space demands, social demands, sequencing and timing, required actions, body functions and structures that are all required for you to do certain things. So we take things that you want to do and we break them down to a very basic level. What are all the things required in order for you to do this task?
So it sounds, people can be condescending about it, like, well, he needs a bath, go give him a bath. I'm like, well, that's not my job. That's not what we're working on today. It may be something that we work on at some point, but again, it's okay. yeah, I may help somebody take a shower, but then I'm also watching, how are you doing this? Or watching someone get dressed. Like, how are you doing this? How are you breaking apart this task? You know, someone who had a stroke, it may take them a half an hour to get dressed. It may take someone with a spinal cord injury an hour to get dressed. But if they want to be independent and do it themselves, I am going to help teach them the easiest, most efficient, less energy exerting way to do this. So we have to look at a lot of factors. We have to be creative. We have to be able to do, compensatory strategies. If that doesn't work, we have to look at equipment. If there's no equipment out there, I've made equipment before for people. Like, okay, I'll have to design it for you then. If it doesn't exist, we create it. So there's a lot that we can do.
Yeah.
Bottom line, we want you to be as happy and independent as possible. What can we do to make that happen? And how can we use our training in the body, in the environment, in tools, in compensatory strategies, our creativity? Like, what can we do? And that's why, we work so well with other professions. We need other professions. We need other occupational therapists to consult with, physical therapists, speech pathologists, doctors. We want to get the full picture so that we know how we can best help somebody.
And also, like, another thing that we look at that I think a lot of other professions don't look at is, like, when I was doing an internship in a psychiatric unit, is, okay, this person has depression. So again, I'll go back to the example, they're not dressing, they're not bathing themselves, they're not eating. Well, we analyze the underlying factors that contribute to that. So it's like, okay, well, maybe psychologically he doesn't have or she doesn't have motivation to get up and do on any of those things because there's just nothing driving. So at the unit that we were at, they had a morning meeting where, like, everybody, like, got together. It was socially motivating. I think they had coffee, and then they talked about the news, and they talked about other things. So then now I have something to get ready for. I'm going to take a shower because I'm going to see my peers. I'm going to see my therapist. We're going to talk about different topics. So we look at so many things that drive the human being to be the best that they can be, that, like, so many other professions, I think, don't see. We just really are great contribution.
Or don't have time to address.
Yeah. So if you're having a problem that people haven't been able to resolve, other professionals, or you just want to improve on something in your life, you could contact Lauren because she can help analyze what is holding you back. If you ever felt like you have a block, well, it's the perfect person to ask because we analyze every part of your being and see how we could limit those blocks. So we also look at performance skills. So I kind of talked about this, like your motor skills, your sensory perceptual skills. So like with autism, a lot of times the sensory system is impaired. So we give sensory strategies for kids, like, we know certain things that calm their body, certain things that might make them more agitated. So we would give recommendations to the parent how to calm the nervous system, how to not agitate the nervous system, and how to promote learning and function to the best of their ability. We look at emotional regulation. I was talking about how I have a group of kids. It's an emotional program where we work on identifying emotions, how to handle big emotions. We work on so many different things. And then, of course, what we were just saying, cognitive skills. So attention, memory, sequencing, planning, organizing, all those cognitive functions. We analyze that and look at, can we correct that if you have, maybe if you have ADHD or something and you have a hard time focusing, we analyze how to help you be more successful, maybe either through compensatory strategies or through improving habits and routines. Or we've talked so much about diet. Eliminating certain things from your diet helps you with focus. We're an amazing profession, again, that's not marketed, so we just want to let you know what we do so you can let other people know or let yourself know. We also look at, and I've been mentioning this a lot, performance patterns. So your behaviors, your habits, your routines, and your roles. So we're kind of creatures of habit. So if we talked about in another video, sedentary, that can cause chronic pain, that can cause lack of circulation and heart problems. It can cause so many things. So we can help figure out how to get you out of bad habits and bad routines. I mean, even probably like smoking and things like that. Like, what are the underlying problems? Analyze it and then get to the root of it. which a lot of people don't, and just like give you the patch, but a lot of times people smoke because of anxiety. So we look at like so many different areas and really are able to just really hone in on what's limiting you. We also look at context. We look at environment. We look at like, how is your culture impacting you? How is your spirituality affecting you? How is your physical body, temporal, visual systems, social systems? We look at like all these things about the environment that you're functioning in. So I mean, specifically an example, like Lauren is taking what we learned in school and really being creative with it and detoxifying your life and helping you to detoxify your environment, because certain household cleaners, different makeups and products that you use around the house could be making you sick, could be making you tired, could be leading to one of your diseases. So we analyze the environment that you're in and really like help you to be able to make it healthier so that you can have all the energy you need to be happy and healthy and well. And then the process that we do this is we do an evaluation. So we do like a profile of all these things that I mentioned and analyze your occupational performance. Like, how are you performing and the things that you need and want to be able to do in your life. So we critically evaluate that with professional evaluations or sometimes informal observation. And then we do interventions and treatment. Once we analyze that evaluation, we do an intervention plan, we implement that plan, and we review that plan and see if it needs to be updated. So we're very systematic. Like sometimes, again, people are like, oh yeah, like you're just like doing like this low level work or whatever, but it's actually like any a high level professional career. We do a lot of objective analysis of all these components.
There are a lot of assessments that we can do too that are standardized.
Muscle testing, sensory testing,
cognitive testing.
I mean, we have
different
standardized
performance evaluations. Yeah, there's a lot of standardized
evaluations. Yeah,
there's a lot of standardized assessments that we use to help track progress over time. Not only how independent are you, but how is your brain functioning? How is your body functioning?
Even like performance measures, how you're doing on those different areas of your life, sleeping. We have standardized tests for those things too. So we are very systematic in how we approach you. It's systematic, standardized, and critical analysis of how you're doing. And then outcomes. So we look at the overall goal. Like we're very client-centered. What is your goal? Is your goal to like be able to go back to work after you have an injury? Is your goal to start your own business? Is your goal to have better relationships with people? Is your goal to improve your depression? Is your goal just to be healthier? We make sure that we are reaching your goal. And if we didn't reach that goal, we start, over and reanalyze what we need to do to get you to where you need to be.
And I think that's something that's very unique, and not even all occupational therapists do this, but depending on where you work and who you're working with, communicating with the person you're working with, what do you want to accomplish? You may have the potential to be independent at getting dressed, but if it's going to take you 2 hours, is that really important to you? Is that something you want to do? If your goal is conserving energy, like if I'm working with a patient with MS or ALS and they have limited energy, if their goal is to be able to have enough energy to get their grandchild off the bus, or their kid or whoever off the bus at 2:30 and spend an hour with them, playing with them, then I'm going to make sure that whatever we plan for their entire day leaves enough energy for them to do that. I'm not going to say, well, I think you should be able to do this, this, and this, and this, and then by 2:30 you're exhausted. So really looking at not only what I think you're capable of, but what do you want to be capable of? How can we put that into a goal? How can I help you achieve it? And we have this Venn diagram of 3 circles. One is the person, with all your abilities and limitations. One is the environment with all its limitations and capabilities, and then the other is the activity. So looking at all 3 of those things, what do you need to complete this activity? What's getting in your way physically and in the environment? And how do we find that little area in the middle where we can make it all happen?
So we're basically like your health advocate or your life advocate. We can help you overcome any barriers, whether they be physical, psychological, spiritual, energetic, whatever is limiting you and keeping you from reaching your goals.
Yeah. And we work really well with, again, like I said, other professions. We like input from other people because we don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we also want to know as much about you as possible. So that's why our evaluations can be so comprehensive if we really want to help every aspect of your life, because we need to know everything about you so that we can really make an impact. Because like we always say, dig deeper. You know, there may be an underlying cause of your current symptom or your current problem. So we need to know all of the information to help you figure out what that cause is. And then a big part of our job is educating you, because knowledge is power. So how can we help you improve your life, improve your knowledge, improve your health, improve whatever you want to be improved, so that you can be as independent and as happy as possible.
Help you take your power back.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's it for what we do. We just realized that we didn't give a video on what we do. And again, we have a background in psychological and physiological function. So we have a master's degree in occupational therapy that involves both medical and psychological training. So that is what qualifies us to be able to work with people with various medical conditions.
And we do work under the prescription of a doctor. So if you are having issues in any of these areas, please advocate for yourself, because again, occupational therapists can help people that don't have specific diagnosed problems. And I'm not saying like go get yourself a diagnosis, because, you know, that's not always great either. But just advocate for yourself talk to your doctor. Say, hey, I'm really struggling with X, Y, and Z, and I think an OT can help me. Can we talk about a prescription? So, you know, and the limitation is you do have to have some sort of diagnosis in order for us to treat you. So again, like I said, in healthcare, there's red tape, there are limitations, and that's why I chose to be more flexible and do wellness coaching. So if you are having trouble finding somebody, you can contact me and we can see what we can do together, and I will function as a wellness coach with training in occupational therapy, but I am not a practicing occupational therapist at the moment. So keep that in mind.
So thank you for being here and finding out what it is that we do and how we do it.
Yeah, so please like our video, share our video with other people. We want to get the word out there about OT. It's been around for over 100 years, but it's changed and evolved a lot, and you know, it's kind of tweaked a little bit as healthcare has been tweaked. So there's so much we can do, and it really depends on what therapist you have. You know, just like a doctor, you know, different areas that they're interested in, different types of care they provide. So find someone that jives well with you. So share our video. Please subscribe to our channel and sign up for alerts so you know when new videos are posted. Visit us at www.facebook.com/Lauren and Tracy, and email us if you would like our assistance with anything.
And as usual, we are wishing you physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Thanks for being here. See you next time.